Preparing the statement of cash flows. What we're going to look at here is kind of an overview of the process of preparing the statement of cash flows. We're not going to get into all of the details yet, because if we understand the process, it's going to make those details a lot easier to put together to come up with the statement of cash flows as we need it to be. When we're talking about preparing the statement of cash flows, we have some very good news as kind of a starting point. And that good news is we know the answer before we begin. What we have in the statement of cash flows is three categories of activities. So we're going to come up with cash flows from operating activities, cash flows from investing activities, and cash flows from financing activities. And we know that the three of those added together needs to be equal to the change in cash on the balance sheet. There was a beginning cash balance, there was an ending cash balance, which very well could be cash and cash equivalents on the balance sheet. But we have the beginning cash balance and the ending cash balance. And that change is what the statement of cash flows is explaining. The statement of cash flows is taking that change in cash during the period and saying how much of that change was connected to operating activities, investing activities, and financing activities. Okay? So we know the answer before we begin. What we have to do is go ahead and allocate that change to those three categories. Now, the foundation for preparation of the statement of cash flows is the income statement. Okay? The income statement is where we're going to start, because in general, the income statement is almost operating activities. So what we're going to see in the preparation of the statement of cash flows is we're going to start with the income statement, and we're going to make adjustments to it in order to come up with the operating activities section. Now, if we just kind of think about it, we can think of some of the adjustments that we're going to make. We're going to talk about these in detail. But on the income statement, we have some transactions recorded that didn't have cash connected to them. For example, if on December 30th, a customer came in and bought something on credit, we sold it to them, we recognized the revenue, but we didn't receive the cash. And so what we have to do is take out those non-cash transactions out of the income statement. Depreciation expense. On the income statement, there's this big line, depreciation expense, but we didn't actually pay any cash for that. So we need to make an adjustment for that. Also, there were cash transactions during the period that aren't reflected on the income statement. So we need to put those in. For example, last December, we sold something to a customer. We recognized the revenue last year, but they paid this year. So we don't have any revenue on the income statement for the cash received this year, but we received the cash. So we're going to have to make an adjustment for that. And also, on the income statement, we do have some non-operating activity transactions, events. For example, if the company sold some fixed assets, there's probably a gain or a loss on the income statement for that sale of the fixed assets. But we know that the fixed asset sale is an investing activity, not an operating activity. And so we need to make adjustments for that. So what we're doing is we're starting with the income statement, and we're going to adjust that to become the operating activities section of the statement of cash flows. Investing and financing, we just kind of have to look through and say, okay, what purchases of fixed assets, sale of fixed assets? Did we borrow any money? Did we loan any money? Did we sell any shares? And those we just kind of pull out individually. So we're adjusting the income statement to create the operating activities section of the statement of cash flows. There are two acceptable methods in US GAAP to prepare and present the statement of cash flows. They are called the direct method and the indirect method. These are the two methods. Now, for you on your exam, you need to be able to do the indirect method. Okay, the actual calculations in detail of the direct method is not tested, but you need to know what it is. So we'll talk about how it's done, but we won't go into all of the detail. We will provide the detail as needed for the indirect method. But the way these two methods are different, you need to understand this. The only way that they're different, there's only one difference, and that is how the operating activity section is presented. Okay? How the operating activity section is presented. Under both methods, the cash flows from operating activities is exactly the same. Okay? The company had operating activities. Okay? So we can't change that. So whether we use the direct or the indirect method, the cash flows from operating activities is the same. What's different is how that section is presented under both methods. Okay, it's how it's presented under both methods. So here's kind of the overview of it. What we're starting with is the income statement, and we're making adjustments to it. The direct method makes adjustments to each individual line. And the indirect method makes adjustments to net income. Okay, and we'll show this here in just a little bit. The direct method is going to make adjustments to each individual line, and the indirect method makes adjustments to net income. Now, what this means is that we have the same starting point. And we know that the ending point, the cash flows from operating activities, is the same under both methods as well. So all that's different is kind of the way it's presented. So let's try to look at this. We have a starting point for both methods as the income statement. And we've prepared just a very simple income statement here. Revenue minus cost of goods sold, minus the salary expense, minus the rent expense, minus the depreciation expense, plus the gain on the sale of fixed assets. Okay, that's equal to net income. So we have the same starting point for both methods. Okay, we have the same starting point. Now, what we're going to do for the direct method is we're going to make adjustments to each individual line. So we're going to take revenue and we're going to adjust it for any non-cash transactions that are there. We're going to add any cash transactions that are not there. And we're going to come up with cash from customers. We're going to start with cost of goods sold. We're going to make some adjustments, and it's going to become cash paid to suppliers. Salary expense, we're going to make adjustments. It's becoming cash paid to employees. Rent expense, depreciation expense is non-cash. It's eliminated. It's not on the statement of cash flows. There is no cash paid for depreciation expense. The gain on the sale of fixed asset, that's not an operating activity. That's an investing activity. So that gain is eliminated. And after we make adjustments for each individual line, we have the total, which is the cash from operating activities. Okay? Cash from operating activities under the direct method. Each individual line is adjusted, and so we get kind of a similar statement as the income statement because revenue became cash from customers. Cost of goods sold became cash paid to suppliers. Salary expense became cash paid to employees. So that's the operating activities and the adjustments and the way it's presented under the direct method. Now, under the indirect method, we make all of those exact same adjustments, but instead of adjusting each individual line, all of those adjustments are made to net income. Okay? And when we take net income and we make all of those adjustments and we get cash from operating activities, it's the same balance. It's the same cash from operating activities as it was under the direct method. And so the cash from operating activities is the same under both methods. And the reason it's the same under both methods is because the adjustments are the same under both methods. It's just how the adjustments are made. Under the direct method, the adjustments are made to each individual line. Under the indirect method, the adjustments are made to net income. But each individual line of the income statement added together is equal to net income. So the starting point for the direct and indirect methods is the same. It's just presented a little bit differently. The adjustments are exactly the same under both of them. You eliminate depreciation expense under both of them. You make an adjustment for receivables under both of them. What's different is the presentation. Under the direct method, we have this nice cash from customers, cash paid to suppliers, cash paid to employees. Under the indirect method, we have this net income plus minus plus plus minus minus equals cash from operating activities. Okay? That's the only difference between them is the presentation. Now, looking at the statement of cash flows, very abbreviated statement of cash flows here, but what we have is we have our operating activities, we have investing activities and financing activities. And what that we have is these dots here represent the activities, okay, all of those individual lines. So we end up with a cash flows from operating activities, a cash flow from investing activity, a cash flow from financing activity. We add that up, and that's the net cash flows for the period. And we can prove that by comparing it to the beginning and ending balance. And at the end, we have our schedule of non-cash investing and financing activities. Now, this is blue and black for a reason. Everything that is blue, okay, which means once we get to this total net cash from operating activities, everything below that is exactly the same under the direct and indirect methods. And when I say exactly the same, what I mean by that is copy and paste exactly the same. Copy and paste exactly the same. Not almost, not mostly the same, but exactly the same. The only part that's different between the two methods is this presentation of the operating activities section. Okay, these dots over here, the individual lines within the operating activities. But the total operating activities is exactly the same under each method. Investing and financing, the bottom, the schedule of non-cash investing and financing, exactly the same. Exactly the same under the direct and indirect method. So that's what we're doing in the statement of cash flows. For operating activities, we're taking the income statement and making adjustments to make it cash for the period. Okay, and that's what we're going to look at with the indirect method. What are the adjustments that need to be made? Under the direct method, we adjust each line individually. Under the indirect method, the adjustments are all made to net income. They're different only in the presentation of the operating activities section. And that's the foundation for when we're going to go ahead and look at the detailed preparation under the indirect method to prepare the operating activities section of the statement of cash flows.